No, there's no time.
No time! There's never any time!
Konnichiwa, snitches. I'm B. This is Bro Takuza, and that was a classic scene for us older kids, but it perfectly captures how I feel about watching anime lately, especially since I started working in Japan. I'm currently trying my best to catch up on Hunter x Hunter, and very slowly at that, but sometimes I just want an anime that's short and sweet while giving me the same character development and story depth as the Narutos and One Pieces of the world without having to invest in hundreds and hundreds of episodes because I simply just don't have the time for it. Luckily, there are anime out there, some of which can be binged in between 1 and 3 sittings. Many of them are considered classics, and one is believed to be by many the best anime of all time. That being said, here are my picks for the top 10 single season anime of all time so far. At number 10, Parasite the Maxim. When you initially read the synopsis about worm-like aliens invading Earth and causing mayhem after taking over humans' brains, it seems like a straightforward horror story. But what follows is an unlikely friendship between a human host and his parasite that offers us a great lesson about our relationship as humans to the Earth as only one in a myriad of species. And it does this in a way that doesn't come off as too preachy, and even throws in some pretty thought-provoking takes on the relativity of morality. At number 9, Kill La Kill. Come for the fan service, stay for the subliminal messaging. Kill La Kill was a highly polarizing anime when it came out. While many thought that this was an overly misogynistic anime, and it is kind of hard to get past all the TNA, others felt that it was a bold shot at the ecchi genre. Whichever side you may fall on, I felt that this high school revenge story of a girl looking for her dad's killer had plenty of substance to back up its choice of delivery. And I also enjoyed Kill La Kill's subtle shots at hierarchical societal structures, which is a hallmark of Japanese culture, but a really antiquated way of determining a person's value in my opinion. If you can get past the overabundance of skin, I think you'll really enjoy this one. At number 8, Ouran High School Host Club. So, a short-haired girl named Haruhi stumbles her way into her new high school's host club, breaks a vase, and now the guys, thinking that Haruhi is also a guy, force her to work to pay off her debt. The only thing more ridiculous than this is the fact that a high school has a host club in the first place. The only thing more ridiculous than that is the fact that host clubs really do exist in real life. Still a great anime, and one of the very few that adapted well to the live action treatment. At number 7, Madoka Magica. Madoka Magica is the story of a group of girls who were granted a wish in exchange for their souls and service as witch fighters. The fine print of their agreement is kept hidden, and they find that their decision has pretty lofty consequences. The magical girl genre has been done to death, but Madoka Magica throws in a surprising twist element that really cuts to the core and makes you rethink your stance on some of these key characters. And this is a spoiler, but not really a spoiler, but sort of a spoiler. But pay close attention to the opening theme, as it kind of gives away the twist, which still has a bit of a sting even if you see it coming. Number 6, Samurai Champloo. I was fascinated with Japan's Edo period when I was little, and it wouldn't be until I was much older before I got into watching anime. So finding this was like a match made in heaven for me. This is a great story about a tea shop waitress who hires 2 samurai whose lives she saved to help her find a samurai who smells of sunflowers. This anime was created and directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, who also made another anime you might have heard of that will also make an appearance on this list a little later. But for now, on to number 5, Erased. I feel like I say it in almost every video, but I love anything that has to do with time travel, and Erased is no exception. The main character Satoru has the ability to go back a few minutes in time and stop a disaster from happening, but the murder of his mother sends him way back to his elementary school days, where he must undo this terrifying future by solving a sequence of violent events as a 10-year-old student. There's a bit of time hopping involved, but it's never overkill, and this results in a masterpiece of an anime that also has a quality Netflix live action version attached to it. Now at number 4, Eden of the East. I honestly don't remember how I stumbled upon this anime, but it turned out to be one that had me on the edge of my seat. It starts 3 months after a casualty-free missile strike in Japan, with a chance meeting in Washington, D.C. between a Japanese university student named Saki and a naked Japanese man with the alias Akira who has completely lost his memory. A mysterious cell phone is their starting point to discovering who he really is and how he's linked to the apparent attack just a few months prior. Now for our top 3. At number 3, Death Note. Obvious classic. If you're new to anime, this is a part of the essential viewing curriculum. It's about Light Yagami, a high school student who inherits the power of life and death with a single pen and the Death Note, which is a notebook that can terminate a person's life simply by having their name written in it. Well, if it's such a classic, then why only number 3? Well, what made this anime work so well was the intellectual chess match between Light and L, the quirky detective tasked with taking Light down. After L left the picture, the magic of what made this such an intense game of cat and mouse died out a little for me, but it's still a must-watch nonetheless. At number 2, Neon Genesis Evangelion. This is about as love it or hate it as an anime can get, and I personally fall on the side of love. This mid-90s classic takes place in a post-apocalyptic Japan where mankind is fighting for its survival against giant angel monsters with the use of Evangelion mechas. A super annoying main character and difficult to decipher ending really left a sour taste in many viewers' mouths, such to the point that the creator of the series, Hideaki Anno, received death threats over it, leading to a film release with a new ending. But if you notice the Tree of Life from the Kabbalah in the opening theme, that should tip you off that this is an anime that deals with some serious symbolic undertones, and I was definitely in the minority that actually appreciated the original ending. Check it out and decide for yourself. Before we get to number 1, here are 3 honorable mentions that should also be on your single season watch list. Angel Beats, Steins Gate, and Trigun. Definitely check those out. Now at number 1, no surprise, it's Cowboy Bebop. Most anime series, no matter how well written they are, no matter how well animated they are, usually have even just the slightest blemish, and that's why Cowboy Bebop is revered in the way that it is. It stands as a bulletproof artistic standard for the medium, and no anime has been able to quite recreate or recapture its flawlessness. The future dystopian space setting and soundtrack creates a wholly unique atmosphere that is second to none. And the characters from the Bebop bounty hunting crew are so well fleshed out that there is a level of authenticity that you just don't get from many other anime characters, period. Well, those are my picks. As always, if you've got an issue with this top 10 or the order of it, drop a comment and let me know what your top 10 list would look like down below. I'll be back soon with another video, but until then, sayonara, suckers. I'm so excited! I'm so excited! I'm so scared! I don't know why I did that. I couldn't resist. I'm so excited!